Welcome to the Champagne Way,
a podcast devoted to living every day like a celebration.
Welcome to episode 16 of the Champagne Way. We are so excited that you are here. Stay tuned. We are going to talk about the Prosecco Party at the City Winery that Jess and I attended, cartoons of your past, and nicknames for people and pets. So, Trina, what's in our cup this week?
This week we are drinking Chiari Blanc LeBlanc's 2017 from Monterey County. What do y'all think of this, guys?
It has a very light, refreshing note there on the end.
It does. Mm-hmm. It's very light. I do like the light, refreshing. I feel like in a way it's lacking a little bit of the flavor though that we sometimes get in the champagnes we drink.
It's true. It is. It's light and not as flavorful, but maybe that would help if you need to drink a lot of champagne.
Yeah, that would be great if you're drinking a lot. So maybe for your like baby showers and bridal parties and stuff like that. It'd probably be great with orange juice as well.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe a mixer. I'm not going to lie, everyone. We went from Andre as our pre-drink, as our pre-recording drink here while we were talking about things, straight to this.
The Chiari.
The Chiari. So I had some Andre in my mouth, which like I know that flavor, and I'm like, oh, Andre, straight to this. So... maybe that's that.
Andre's a little sweeter, and I brought cookies.
Okay, yeah, that is true. We did go from sweet to this, which is a little less sweet, which usually I'm a fan of. Mm-hmm. But I'd say I like the fact that it's not as sweet, but I would almost like a little bit more flavor of something. I feel like there's just a slight thing missing. But if we put those essential oils in it, that would probably be
This would be a good one to add stuff to because the champagne flavor wouldn't overpower the flavoring that we put in.
So if you're interested in trying the Chiari, it's spelled Chiare with an accent line over the E, so we are not sure if we are saying it correctly.
I think it's called a tilde.
There you go, a tilde?
Over the E.
Over the E?
Is it? No, I think it's an accent. The tilde is the little squiggly line.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's just squiggly.
I think I have a tilde in my middle name.
I'm going to just, make up names only, or use names for like future pets and kids only if they have one of those.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're interested in trying the Chiari, you can find this over at Aldi. It is spelled Chiare. And it's average probably about like $9 a bottle.
Yeah, it's around that price. I found it grocery shopping. I stocked up. And, for the price, you can't beat it.
Yeah. So if you're wanting something that's maybe a little less sweet, maybe you don't like anything with a strong like flavor to it, this would be perfect for that.
Mm-hmm. Great for mimosas.
Yeah.
So who are we giving shout outs to this week? The champagne shout out.
Oh, we had a lot of champagne shout out submissions, actually.
Yes. Thank you, listeners.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to start with one from Glitter Glasses Journey. So they say, to my hubby at Miles of Adventures for understanding how much Nashville and my friends mean to me and being okay with me leaving him for 10 days to catch up with friends and driving all the way up from Florida so we could spend one day in the city and go to Tailgate, which I heard about thanks to this podcast. It is great. So we could turn around and drive right back down.
Oh, wow. Well, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. He's a keeper.
Yeah,
Very, very much a keeper.
Definitely keeper. So thank you for that submission, Glitter Glasses Journey.
Yes.
Also, I love your name.
Yeah.
Cheers to you and your husband.
Yes.
All right. So another champagne shout out comes from our listener, Flying Wine Monkey, whose real name is Christine. She wants to nominate her husband, Donnie, who goes by Polar's Bear 63. When her dad got sick, her husband told her he's just going to move in with us. He ordered all the hospital supplies that they needed. He helped her out every day until her dad passed away. Her dad thought the world and loved Donnie so much. And whenever he talked about him, he referred to him as son and not son-in-law.
Oh, that makes me want to cry a little bit. That was a sweet little shout out.
That is so sweet. And we are going to cheers to you, Christine, and Donnie, and your Father in heaven.
Cheers to all of you. All right. Our next champagne shout out comes from Crystal Reister. Reister? I have no idea, actually. Crystal, don't kill me for that one. Our next champagne shout out's from Crystal to Alicia Johnson. She is awesome because it's her birthday month. And we know Alicia, and she is awesome. So, champagne shout out to her.
Yes.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Alicia.
Happy birthday.
When are we celebrating?
Yeah, please let's go celebrate.
We do need to celebrate. Definitely. We'll bring the champagne. You just tell us where to show up.
That's right. So cheers. And then finally, we want to do a champagne shout out to all of our closet listeners.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
Because we've recently found out that we have a lot of listeners that we didn't really know about until we just all of a sudden, they're just like, oh yeah, we listened to that podcast. And we were like, what?
So Lindsay texted me recently, and she found out some of her coworkers or people that kind of work in the same building.
Yeah, so I work in the court system, and a lot of people in the court had stopped me in the last few weeks and said, hey, I've been listening to the podcast. I love it. It's awesome. And I was just so excited. And also, you know, how you have friends on Facebook or Instagram say, hey, I need suggestions for some podcasts. Some other friends that I don't necessarily talk to a lot had posted and recommended our podcast.
Oh,
So that's so awesome.
Yeah.
So thank
I
you
love that.
guys.
That's amazing. And I found out that my fiance Will listened for the first time.
And we have talked about that multiple times that he's not a listener. So like,
Right. And that's fine. Like, you know, whatever. But he texted me in the middle of the work week last week about something we had randomly mentioned on the podcast. And he just texted me and I was like, wait, are you listening to the podcast right now? Because he often has a job where he can just put in his headphones and do his work and he listens to podcasts. And I was like, wait, are you listening right now? And then he said something about when we were talking about our like summer bucket list and going down the river. And he was like, we should like pull Trina and Lindsay behind us. And then he was like, wait, Trina just said that. So he was like live texting me while he was listening. And so then I was like texting Trina and Lindsay at the same time. And it was just great. So
it was hilarious. She was messaging us and we were both just like, oh my God, this is fantastic. He actually listens.
So cheers to you, Will.
Cheers to Will
If
and
you're
all of the
listening.
closet listeners.
Yeah. And
My
thank you.
interns even randomly like popped around the corner the other day and were like, by the way, you and your podcast host, you're hilarious. And I was like, I feel great about that. We even got the youngins listening to us.
Oh, yay, youngins.
so thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right. So if you follow us on Instagram and Facebook,
Which you should.
You should, absolutely, especially on Instagram. We attended City Winery's Prosecco Party.
Yes.
Jess and I did.
Yes.
I unfortunately had to miss it. We had a sudden loss in our family, and so we had to leave town. But these girls held it down, and it seemed like it was a blast. And they sent me some pictures. They called me afterwards to update me. And I felt like I was there because they posted so much on Instagram, and it was so much fun to follow along and like see how much fun they were having. But so tell me about it, you guys. Like, how was the event? What was all there? What did you get to try?
The Prosecco Party was last Saturday, and so Jess and I went, and they had a bubbly bar, a mimosa bar, sponsored by La Marca, which won our bubbly bracket.
Yes.
And
They were our winner, right?
Yeah,
Bubbly
they
Rocket?
were our winner. Yeah, we were very excited. And I think this event was actually called a Prosecco tasting, but it felt like a party to us, so we just kept calling it the Prosecco. It just ended up, Lindsay and I were just like, the Prosecco party. I mean,
The
whatever.
alliteration.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, come on. Yeah, but when we got there and saw like the bubbly bar was like La Marca, Lindsay and I were just like, oh yes.
Yeah. And they had some juices. They had orange and pineapple and grapefruit, and they had some fresh herbs.
Oh yeah.
Rosemary and mint and marjoram and some other thing.
What were some of the best combos?
I loved the rosemary strawberry combo.
Right, because they had some fresh.
Ooh.
They have fresh strawberries and fresh blackberries.
Now, was it like a strawberry or blackberry like syrup, or was it like a compote?
No,
Or
it
just
was
like
fresh fruit, the fresh blueberry, the fresh berries.
Okay.
But he took I can't say this word, a that wine
Sommelier?
expert. Yeah.
I'm like, I think that's what you're going for.
Yes. So he was making it. So you told him what you wanted, but he would like slap the herbs and this aroma filled the air.
I've seen that at a wedding one time when I went to a wedding that happened to be at a distillery and they made drinks and they like that same thing. They,
To release like the
Yeah.
aroma and everything, the flavor.
It's a little weird when you think about them smacking some herbs, but it's
Yeah.
It was amazing. The mint and strawberry was very good too.
I did the mint and blackberry as well.
Ooh, both of those sound delicious.
And then they had a tasting, so you could try a bunch of different Proseccos from all over the world. We tried a rosé.
And I also tried an organic Prosecco, which was I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Would that mean
there
that
was.
it's like organic berries there? Or not berries, but like
No, it was like organically, I guess, organic grapes. And
Organic
it was
grapes,
probably
yeah.
made like through an organic process.
that's interesting.
Yeah. And then they had Prosecco Pong.
Yes.
And if you saw our fun little picture of just playing Prosecco Pong.
Yes.
I have always wanted to play Prosecco Pong. So I'm really jealous that y'all got to try that.
Yeah.
And we never did our Summer Olympics with Prosecco Pong. So one day we're going to do our Champagne Olympics.
If
and
you're
bring that out.
here for a weekend, maybe we will.
Maybe we should do a Prosecco Pong like tournament for New Year's Eve.
Or Labor Day weekend.
Or Labor Day weekend.
For all
that
of
works
those.
too. All of those things. Let's think about the time that's closer, like
Yes.
a smart person.
Like we need to do a dry run on Labor Day.
And there you go.
And by dry, I mean not non-alcoholic. I
Like
just meant
actual
Just like a
champagne.
practice. You mean a practice.
Practice.
Practice pong. So those were all the stations that were set up. So people would just come in, and obviously we were partaking of all of that. But the Champagne Way also had a table. We had our very own table set up. And so when Lindsay and I weren't testing out all the Prosecco, we were standing at this table, and we had all of our like adorable stickers spread out. And so people would come by the table, and we would just talk to them about the Champagne Way. And we also were like having people enter. We did a raffle giveaway. And we had some prizes to give away, which was very exciting.
And if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, we have the Sunshine and Champagne beach bags. We have some foils with fun champagne slogans. We have our stickers. So we had just like this little gift bag to give away. And so everybody was signing up, and we ended up doing 3 winners, a grand prize winner, a first and second runner up. But everything was so popular, like we ended up selling out of all of our bags, and we are running really low on stickers at this point. So everything was a huge hit. We've talked to a lot of people who were already listeners and a lot who were going to start listening. One girl said every Friday night she takes a bubble bath and drinks champagne. And she said, what would be better than to have the Champagne Way podcast playing while she did that?
Oh, that's perfect. That's a great interpretation of what to do on Champagne Friday, too.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was just a really fun way to meet a lot of bubbly drinkers and talk to them about bubbly and talk to them about what we do.
Yeah, and Janelle and the City Winery, they were awesome. And, hopefully we can actually go back and take some of their cocktail classes and go to some events and maybe even, do another table to set up if there's anything champagne, Prosecco, or sparkling wine related.
That would be awesome, and I hope I get to make it to the next one because that sounded like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Although you two were hilarious when you called me afterwards. I could tell, you tried maybe a little bit of the Prosecco.
We
Just
had a
smidge.
sip or two.
A sip or two.
Just a smidge.
I mean, you did call me out on making some typos on some of the stickers, which was hilarious. So if anyone has those stickers, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and consider that a limited edition because clearly it's going to be fixed by the next time that we actually print the stickers. So you're welcome, everybody.
I'm just glad it wasn't me because I can't spell or pronunciate. Is that how you say it?
But yes.
I mean,
So Jess actually probably needs to be in charge of spell check and grammar check.
She probably should be on everything. After all, you are like an editor.
I mean,
Maybe you should be in charge of like
okay.
spell checking us
I'll
from
just
now on,
proof
or
everything.
grammar checking us. But they called me and told me about that. They also told me that they had a bachelorette party group that came in and spoke to them. And actually, one of the grand prize winners for the bags was part of that group. And then they bought out the rest of our bags.
Yeah. They were so much fun. And they were from New York and Long Island. And, you know, they were all so gorgeous and beautiful. And they were having the best time. And I hope that they enjoyed their time in Nashville.
Well, you know what? Cheers to them for thinking of something fun and unique to do for a bachelorette party in Nashville.
Yeah.
Like, not that it's still not fun to go out downtown and like do the whole honky tonkin' thing, but I think that's fantastic that they thought to look up City Winery and like the Prosecco Party and do something that probably isn't just all taking shots and dancing on bars.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of class and a little bit of fun and good bonding time.
They like did some research. They like, you know, looked into some different events and they weren't just like, oh, Broadway 24/7. So
Yeah.
I hope they still went out to Broadway at some point.
Well,
but
obviously.
For sure.
But I think that's fantastic.
And we met
that they did
another
that.
couple. They were having an anniversary trip.
oh yeah, they
that's
were
awesome.
adorable.
Yeah, they're from Alabama, and they had left their kids at home, and they were really cute. Had brunch in Franklin, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to do the downtown thing." And then we actually got a couple of recommendations for champagnes to try on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
so I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
Even better.
it was just a great time to meet some new people. We got some subscribers to our Instagram. We got some subscribers to the podcast. So hello, if you're listening at all, new subscribers from the Prosecco tasting party at City Winery, welcome. Yeah.
Yes, thanks for listening in to us and, you know, following us on our journey through randomness, champagne randomness. Well, yeah, I'm excited about hopefully coming to the next event. That sounds like y'all had an absolute blast. And thanks to all the people who participated and came out to the event and who signed up for our giveaway. And yeah,
Yep. So champagne shout out to you, City Winery.
there
Yes.
you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, guys. So Rory, my daughter, who is 4.5 months old, loves cartoons.
Does she love cartoons or do you and her dad love cartoons?
Well, she loves to watch the TV. I think it's the colors. So we've
Okay.
been putting it on the cartoons because it's obviously vibrant colors.
Right.
And so we were watching a show this morning, and it was like a superhero show. I think Jay was actually watching it.
Yeah, that's definitely for the dad
Yeah.
there. That's for Jay.
Although yesterday she watched Wall-E and she was talking to him because, you know, like their little robots make the little
Aw.
meow, 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 meow sounds, and she was going, ah, ba, da, ba, da. And it was so cute. Anyway, so it got me thinking, like, how much cartoons have changed over the years. So, like, what shows do you guys remember from when you were kids, babies, that are not around anymore?
Okay, first thing, as soon as you said like kind of mimicking Rory, that kind of yabba dabba doo, that made me think of the Flintstones. I haven't thought of the Flintstones in forever, but we've come a long way from the Flintstones. I don't think like there's even a cartoon out there like the
Do
Flintstones
they
for
not
kids
have
nowadays.
the Flintstones anymore?
I mean, it might be on repeat, but I don't know if they're making new episodes of it. by
No,
any means.
they're
Like,
not. And the Flintstones was like, well, that was even before our time. Like that was like back.
Oh, I'm
in,
not that old, dude.
Well, I know, but
You're
like,
like 10 years younger than me.
I mean, right?
look and listen. The Flintstones are like from like God, or
The
they
Stone
like,
Age, because they are.
Okay, right.
Burn.
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 Flintstones burn.
Okay, let me drink some champagne to cool off from that burn real quick.
All right. Well, like, what other like cartoons can you think of from like that you grew up on?
Yeah, my favorite cartoon was Rainbow Bright.
Oh, that one was so
And
good.
my husband has no idea what that is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he's a couple years younger than you, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But now he would be around your age though, Jess. So
I know what Rainbow Bright is. I didn't watch Rainbow Bright.
He's
missed
Jess
out.
is a smidge more mature than my husband.
Right?
Like by 20 years.
there you go.
I'm just joking.
Well, in that same Rainbow Bright era, there's the old school strawberry shortcake.
Yes.
Okay?
I had a whole bedspread with strawberry shortcake on it.
Right. And there's a video that I probably wore out renting from the video store. That was strawberry shortcake's like coming home party. And like I went and found that on YouTube a couple of years ago just to like watch bits and pieces of it. Like I rented that like once a week from the video store.
See, I don't remember a lot of the Strawberry the Shortcake episodes. I do remember that I had a comforter that matched the whole theme. But I feel like constantly was dressed in pink as a child, and they pushed that on me a little bit, maybe.
That's totally not me.
Totally not me as I got older. I think that's why, though.
Well, I mean, totally not me as a mom. I'm never going to push anything on my daughter, like
Except
bows
bows
or anything. She got a couple Rainbow Bright bows in, guys.
Of course.
I'm pretty pumped about that because I especially ordered her a Rainbow Bright outfit before she was even born. And if I have another child and it's a girl, she's going to be named after Rainbow Bright, but her name will not be Rainbow. I'm not going to tell you because I don't want anyone to steal it, but just let that sink in.
I'm actually slightly disappointed that it's not going to be Rainbow.
Well,
Just throwing that out there.
I mean,
Things
can change.
I can't wait. Hurry up. I want to know.
I know. Hurry up, have a child. I want to know this.
Well,
Well,
so
like-
what did so that's what I remember is like the strawberry shortcake and like the gummy bears. That was like Disney Channel.
I remember younger years. I definitely remember the Flintstones, the Smurfs.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that I watched like as a really young kid. And then as I got older, like, you know, your junior high, not even junior high, I think even like older elementary school, it was all Nickelodeon all the time. So we're talking Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Rocco's Modern Life, Doug. I love Doug.
Quailman.
Quail
So-
Man.
I remember being in college and I went to a Halloween party and I saw someone dressed as Quailman and I like freaked out because I thought it was the greatest costume in the entire world. And my now husband was my boyfriend at that time and he was just like, I don't get it. Like, why does that guy have a belt on his head and underwear over his shorts? And I was like, it's Quailman. And I was like, this is the greatest costume of all time. And he was just like, I just don't get it. And then he finally told me, he's like, I did not have that channel growing up. Like, he did not know any of those cartoons that I just
Bless
mentioned.
his heart.
Deprived.
Like, not even a little bit. And then when I tried describing some of the cartoons to him, try describing Rugrats without sounding like really, really juvenile.
Oh, there are some Rugrat bows. I have not bought any yet.
I'm surprised that your daughter doesn't have any My Little Pony bows. Or does she?
No, she does not. I love My Little Pony, but I feel like it was so commercialized, like recently.
That's true.
I'm trying to stick to my roots until she gets old enough to tell me what she wants. Before that, I'll just force everything upon her.
I'm not going to lie. I've seen some of the newer My Little Pony episodes because one of my grad school friends works for Hasbro. And so she like worked, like, so she got us all this free like My Little Pony stuff. And so then I like was curious and watched some of the new My Little Pony and it's actually not bad.
Oh, good.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, there's some episodes of different cartoon shows nowadays that I've watched with my niece and nephew where every once in a while I'm like, how do they get away with this? Like,
yeah.
I mean, because they're into like the Monster High shows
What is that?
Oh, it's cute.
It's actually is kind of cute, but like there are sometimes where I'm like, that's some interesting innuendo. But then I also kind of like remember back to Animaniacs. Animaniacs was like super political and made a ton of like Clinton and like saxophone and Monica Lewinsky jokes. And it's like, how did that show stay on the air as long as it did? They even made fun of the network they were on.
Now, Monster High, isn't that where there's like a vampire and a werewolf and they'll go to high school?
So they're very all about diversity and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the
that's
diversity
good.
of it. They're definitely like preteens in the show, which, you know.
All right.
Speaking of diversity, do you guys remember the Garbage Pail Kids?
I remembered a little bit.
Yeah, a tiny bit.
Okay, so there were trading cards,
I remember that.
and then there was a movie.
Nope, don't
The
remember that.
movie, I think, was 92 or 94, and it won an Academy Award for Best Movie Ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow. I don't remember that.
Oh, okay.
We are going to have to watch it. So if you don't know what a Garbage Pail Kid is, they're pretty much like a Cabbage Patch Kid, but gross. Like there's Leaky Lindsay, and she just has snot like flowing from her nose, like nonstop. There's a little doll with like zits all over his face. Like it's just adorable.
So
But they're gross.
Would there be like a junkie Jessica?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So this was a kid show, are we sure?
Yeah. And it wasn't a cartoon. The movie was not a cartoon.
See, I remember the movie, I think, and it was a little weird for me. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't a super fan of that stuff around that age, but
What do you mean it wasn't a cartoon?
more like puppets.
Yeah. Kind of like
Sesame Street or something like that.
All right.
I feel like Jess needs to watch this.
We're gonna have to watch
I need
it.
to drink a bunch of champagne and watch this.
Yes.
It's probably really trippy as an adult now.
Yeah. All right. I'm real curious. Oh, sorry. That just made me think when you said puppets and stuff. This is not a cartoon, but this is a show that I've loved when I was younger, and we're going to count this. That was Fraggle Rock.
Oh my God, Fraggle Rock. I totally love that.
See?
Also, random thing.
Yes.
Because I've told this to people before and they did not understand Fraggle Rock.
What?
But in high school, we had a drinking spot called Fraggle Rock.
What?
Yes, it was behind. It should have been probably called Rollins because it was behind like Rollins College in my hometown. But like,
I like Fraggle
They were
Rock
doing
better.
like I'm pretty sure it was that one. That. No, actually, no. It might have been on this other field. There were a couple different random spots where they would throw parties and stuff. But yeah, there was one called Fraggle Rock, and there was like rocks all over the place, and it was like, and it was under construction, and it was hilarious because
Oh,
that was
construction.
for our like generation.
Yeah.
Fraggle Rock was great, and of course, by the time we got to high school, we all knew what Fraggle Rock was, but it wasn't like a thing anymore on TV. So, but yeah, every time
was
I think
good.
Fraggle Rock now, I think of that show, and then I also think of that drinking spot.
Yep.
And I remember being in college and telling a couple people that we had a drinking spot named Fraggle Rock, and they were like, "What?"
I love Fraggle Rock.
That's when you know not to be friends with somebody.
Exactly.
I'm so glad you both made that gasping noise and like super appreciated.
Fraggle Rock was so great.
We're gonna have to have a Champagne Friday event where we relive our childhood cartoon memories.
and we just watch like random
Yes.
cartoon episodes of
Just
things.
serve champagne and watch like old school things. I
Yes.
feel like that's our next Champagne Friday event.
Yep.
Oh, and you know what I'm gonna make? Justice drinking thing cap is coming through real quick. I'm gonna make. There's a recipe. Did you guys ever eat like Dunkaroos or anything?
Oh my
Yes.
God, I love Dunkaroos.
There's a recipe where I can make Dunkaroos dip,
Oh, wow.
and we're gonna serve this with our champagne.
Perfect.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, done.
Whole new plan. Love
That's
this, guys.
happening.
All right, guys. So let's talk nicknames. Do y'all have any? Do you have any for your pets? Or do you notice like how people always want to shorten names or like give like a nickname? I don't know if it's like a personal like thing, like you have ownership of something when you've nicknamed it or something.
Yeah, so my daughter's name is Aurora. We had shortened that to Rory. Now she's Roar.
Okay.
Right?
So you took a nickname from the name and then kind of created it. Well, I guess it would just be a shortened name, not necessarily a nickname. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Rory. But it kind of could be a nickname still, too.
So it's just like
Roar.
the more you say it, the smaller the name gets.
I get
Yeah.
that. I don't know if y'all have ever noticed this, but my niece and my nephew call me Auntie BB.
Uh-huh.
My initials are TJLW. Where is there a B in there?
Yeah, what?
What's with that? Yeah, I get this a lot. So this comes from having a long slew of like nicknames. So both me and my sister Nina, we were both often called like Nina Bina, Trina Bina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or then it became like Nina used to call me all the time like Trina Bina or Trina Beaner. And
I've called you Trina Bina a lot.
you've called me Trina Bina. It's like a natural thing. A lot of people instantly like then want to call me Trina Bina.
Yeah.
So she went from like Trina Beaner to Trina Bina to Bina B to Bina to BB. And so she's always called me BB. Yeah. It only got weird one time when she actually was dating someone who would call her baby, but the way that she would say it would be like, baby. And I was like, I'd be like, huh? What? You saying BB?
Oh, no.
Or baby. Like, that was the only weird time.
Needless to
But-
say, that didn't work out.
no, it didn't work out. But she's always called me BB. And so naturally, when she ended up having kids, she just started calling me Auntie BB to them. And so they call me Auntie BB instead of Auntie Trina. Trina BB. I know it's a very far stretch from that, but
Got a ring to it, though.
yeah, ever since then, I've just always been called Auntie BB, and
like
that's just
it.
the thing.
Yeah.
So, but I've always had nicknames throughout my entire life, And it's always been like depending on who the group was. So it's like my sisters would often call me, well, Nina would call me BB. Layla calls me TJ sometimes. Her and my mom are the only two that have ever called me TJ, which is the whole reason I have my name to begin with, is because my mom really wanted a son named TJ. And I was the third girl. And at that point, my dad was like, not having anymore because we'll end up with 10 girls. So I got the initials that led to them being able to call me TJ.
Oh, okay.
It also led to them calling me Trina Jean. Jean is not my middle name. I still answer to that one sometimes. And then throughout high school, a lot of my friends called me Tree.
Okay.
So I don't know why you'd want to shorten Trina anymore to Tree, but I became Tree. And then that even got shortened to an icon. You know, like Prince eventually changed his name to like a symbol.
Yeah.
In high school, all of my notes just had like a triangle with like a bush on top, and that was like a tree. And that's how all of my notes started, was just tree. And then some people would even draw a tree and then write "nah" next to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. I've had nicknames my entire life, and I answer to all of them.
Well, but you know what? I feel like middle school and stuff like that is kind of like that starting place for stuff. Like, I mean, I guess I go technically by a nickname now. I mean, like, I've been Jessica most of my life. And then when I moved to Boston, I was like, you know what? I'm going by Jess now. And my parents had kind of always called me Jess. But now I was just like, you know what? That's just going to be my name. I'm just going to be Jess. Like, that's what I'm going by. And so now most people, when I introduce myself, like at work, I'm Jess. My Boston friends know me as Jess. Like, that's what I am. But like in middle school, I had a group of friends and we called each other, this is so strange, by the last two letters of our first name. So like I was Ka, C-A. I was Ka. Or maybe not the last two letters, but like our friend Heather was Ther. T-H-E-R.
There.
And our friend Annie was Nie. N-I-E. So like when we would pass notes to each other, it would be like Ka, Ther, Nie. And like that's just what we went by for like all of middle school.
I do remember in like junior high at one point in time, one of my friends, I remember this because I can always remember her name backwards, but we would write every once in a while to each other and we'd spell the name backwards. So my first name spelled backwards is Inert. And I know, right? And then my friend Lisa, her name backwards is Asil, which I used to just think it was funny to call her Asil because it kind of sounds a little like asshole. But yeah, so we did that a couple times,
Yeah.
but
So
never
just-
anything.
I mean, my
Too
name,
short.
Lynn's LB.
I've always called you Lynn's.
Yeah.
I do always. I've always thought to myself, if I have kids, I want to name them something that I can shorten because I've always liked the idea of giving them a nickname or shortened name.
Yeah, I loved having Rory for Aurora. Love that.
Yeah.
Like, I love Charlie for Charlotte. Like, But I'm gonna show you guys some names. These are legitimate names that people have named their children. You know how Gwyneth Paltrow has Apple?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna show them to you, and you tell me how they're pronounced.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
These are just names, not nicknames. These are just legit names.
These are legit names. I'm gonna do one for each of you, so you can look at it at the same time.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm like really curious about this.
this is a fun game. I like
Yeah.
where this is going.
Okay. What is that name? Spell it.
SSSST. St.
Okay, I feel like that's not how this is
Like
supposed to be.
maybe it's
No, I feel like this is just stay or sta.
You think it's like sta? I'm thinking like
SSST. 4 S's and a T.
Okay.
ST?
Forest.
Forest.
No.
Oh my
No.
God. Are you serious?
No, stop
Who
it.
would do that? I'm sorry. No, I object. This person should not be allowed to procreate anymore.
Stop it. Is that a
Like-
true story?
That
Yes,
cannot.
These are real names.
No, that's not forest.
That's like a really messed up pun.
Oh, I have heard of this one. So it looks like la, but I have heard this one before. It's LA-A.
This is Ladasha, right?
Ladasha, right?
Ladasha.
Oh my gosh. Like that's not how you say these things. That like I don't know. When I see things like that, I'm like, do you not think about your child ever like getting a job. Like I had someone tell me that one time. Like, think of what they're going to put at the top of their resume.
Yeah.
Do not give them a weird misspelled name that people can't pronounce, and don't make it cool with a bunch of like weird Y's and letters and Z's and silent vowels.
Okay, everyone. Lindsay has just given us one that is literally the alphabet, the first 5 letters of the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E. Abadicia. Abadici.
Abcd.
Obesity.
Obesity.
But wait, it almost sounds like.
Obesity, but really like obesity.
Yes, people
Wow.
name their children.
But almost like obesity, but not.
Yeah.
I will never complain about my name like ever again.
Wait, but how do you give cool nicknames out of these names?
I know, right? Like A. That's what I would call this child. A. Like, you're just getting the first letter of your name. That's all you get. And like the other one, La.
How do you give cool nicknames?
I didn't ask.
But you can't nickname out of obesity or abadicity.
Those are so weird. I don't know about those.
Those are real names.
That's crazy.
I had a client years and years and years ago who had a bunch of boys, and he named them like Johnny Walker and like all the liquor names.
Is he trying to raise alcoholics or? I mean, they're cool names. They're going to be clearly like cool kids in like college.
It was like Jim Bean and Johnny Walker, and they had their last name, but that was like their first and middle name.
Was that what they were conceived on?
Maybe.
I didn't get that far into it to ask him, but maybe that's where it came from.
I did start reading a book recently where the characters in it were named by, I think, the places that they were conceived.
Oh.
Because like one person's name, her name was Manhattan, but they called her Hattie. And then like
All
another
right.
person, she was named like after like some sort of island or something like that, but she was called Isla.
Oh, I like
So
that.
it was really cool. Like it's kind of an interesting thing, except for like both kids in the story were like, yeah. So every time someone asks me about my name, I've got to explain like this is apparently where I was conceived and my parents did it. Obviously.
So Rory, if that was the thing, Rory's name would be Oakland or San Francisco.
You could have called her Franny.
No.
Oh.
I think Rory's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
If we would have went that route, that would have been her name.
I remember telling you about the name Rory after I was like reading a book.
We totally named Aurora Rory off of Trina's suggestion. She named my daughter.
First name. I get to lay claim
Yeah.
to. I remember reading the book and like the character in the book being named Rory, but her first name was Aurora. And I was just like, oh my God, that sounds so awesome. I was like, plus it's got the Disney tie to it, which screams Lindsay.
Yeah.
And then I kept thinking like Rory Moreland sounds really like a cool name.
So at first we were going to name her Aurora Jade. And I loved that. I thought it was really pretty. And on our way to our gender reveal party, because we had a girl name picked out and a boy name picked out. And Jay, my husband, was like, I'm just going to Google Aurora Jade. And it was a transvestite prostitute from like Thailand.
Wow. That's very specific.
He's like,
too.
we can't name her this. I'm like, number one, who cares?
Right.
Number two, they're from Thailand. Like, who gives a shit? But he was like, no. I said, fine. I want to name her Aurora James. My husband Jay's name is James, Jaymes. He's like, I'm just not conceited enough to have a child named after me. I'm like, well, I am. And that's going to be her name unless you can figure out something different on the 20-minute ride to the restaurant. Therefore, her name is Aurora James.
You won. Yay.
Yay.
I was like, I'm pushing this watermelon out my lemon hole. You can shut your mouth.
Also, like seeing her, she looks like a Rory.
Yeah.
It's fitting. Like there's sometimes like you look at a child and you're like, that should not have been your name.
Yeah.
Like that you look at your child and like that looks like a Rory. It's very unique. She looks unique. She's very beautiful. Like I feel like that's like fitting.
I think my mom got my name off a soap opera, and my dad was mad because he didn't approve it, but he wasn't there. So
there's that.
It was just
There's
like
that.
whatever.
Well,
I like my name. I think it fits me.
you've heard the fact that obviously my mom wanted a boy named TJ. So
Yeah.
they thought she carried me completely different throughout her pregnancy, and they thought I was going to be a boy, I guess, at some point in time. And so my boy name picked out, which I don't think is any better at all. But I was told it was Tyson Jedediah.
Oh,
Yes.
that's god awful.
That's like, thank God I was not a Tyson Jedediah, but I would have been called TJ. So it wouldn't have really mattered anyways, because the whole purpose was they wanted to call me TJ.
I think we have to ask WTF.
But
yes.
for legal purposes, Tyson Jedediah.
It was a name,
It's a
and
lot. Well, I think God made you a girl just so no one in the world would have to have that god awful name.
Basically.
so no one got that name. So then instead I got Trina Janika, and that I think was just literally made up on the spot.
If Rory would have been a boy, her name was going to be Cassian Bright.
Ooh.
Oh,
I like
okay.
that.
Cassian is a Star Wars name.
Oh, of course.
Now, so if you ever have another boy, is it going to be Cassian?
No, I actually like the name Shepherd and call him
Oh.
Shep. I've been kind of infatuated with this reality show called Southern Charm, and that's like an old school money name.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
But I
do like
love,
the name.
I like Shep. And
right.
I texted that to Jay last night, right? So I was Friday night, I was having some champagne, and I was drinking, watching the show, and I texted him at 11:14 and said, if I have another child and it's a boy, I shall name him Shepherd, and henceforth he will be referred to as Shep.
Henceforth.
And my husband texted me back. He said, I'm going to cut my balls off now. BRB. So I don't think he likes it as much as I do. But again, watermelon lemon, he has no say.
There we go.
So I'm going to need you to drink that faster because I need you to try the new bottle we're on. We're on Burlwood. It's the $4.99 bottle from Aldi's, you guys. And it's got that little sweet. She just chugged that.
You told me to.
I know.
I listen when it comes to champagne and
I'm
drinking.
married. I'm not used to people doing what I say. Doesn't your grandfather have this sweet nickname for your grandmother?
Oh, yes. So we got into a conversation about nicknames, and they call each other all sorts of cute little names. So he went through all the different nicknames they have for each other, and they were all these little cute names. I think they even call like each other like Patsky and like just cutesy little names.
Right.
And then he said, every once in a while, I've got a name for her, but I'm only allowed to call it every once in a while, and it's not a great nickname. And I was like, okay, what is it? And he says, it's my little PITA. And I was like, what does that even mean? And he goes, pain in the ass.
Oh, my God.
She just turned and gave this look like,
I love it.
he's not allowed to call me that very often.
Oh,
I was like, man, I'm going to use that all the time now.
That's
all
funny.
the time.
I call Jay my little cotton swab.
Cotton swab?
Cotton swab?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I just thinking gross things one day that I could call him, and that popped up.
Cotton
he's
swab?
just your little cotton swab.
Yeah,
Okay.
my little maxi pad.
Oh, my God.
You know.
just nice little terms of endearment. Do you have any nicknames or nicknames for your fiance?
Yeah, I mean, Will and I call each other babe all the time, which isn't really a nickname.
Wait till you're married.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm sure we'll come up with more. Sometimes he calls me hoe bag. And not in a derogatory way, but like in just like, in passing.
Marshall calls a couple of our friends names like that. I know it sounds so horrible sometimes, but it's in the name of love.
It's in a loving way.
We used to have a roommate named Ashley that I feel like their relationship over the years became very brother and sister, and he was the older brother, she was the little sister, and so he calls her all sorts of fun names like that
Yeah.
sometimes. So like he'll be like, "Hey Hooker, what's up?" Or
Exactly.
"Hey Hobag."
Exactly.
I'm like, that's so wrong. But
Yeah.
we have another friend, like her last name was Stamper, and he calls her Stamp sometimes.
Yeah.
It's meant with all the love in the world for these wonderful people.
Well, I call you guys Marshmallow and Trina Pad from,
How I Met Your Mother.
who was Marshmallow and Lily Pad.
Although I'm not gonna lie, I don't love Trina Pad very much.
I don't either, but it's the only thing that I can think of that goes with Marshmallow.
So that does remind me of more nicknames for me. So over the years, I have been called a lot of times for some reason. People like start calling me T-Dog. I don't know why, but like the T just kind of forms into that. So then I had some friends go from T-Dog, and then one of Marshall's friends referred to me as T Manatee for a while. So there's that.
Humanity.
I don't know, but like there was a guy when we went to college named Jamari that literally like throughout the mass comm building, you'd hear it from across the building. He would just go, T-Dog. And Marshall remembers that from when we first met. And like we hadn't even started dating or anything. And he happened to hear that one time and he was just like, that's the greatest thing ever, T-Dog.
He's like, I'm going to marry that girl.
I'm going to marry T-Dog here.
You know, somebody said a really mean nickname to me in high school.
What?
What was it?
Okay, so I was a freshman in high school. I was probably like 85 pounds. All I had was a little butt, and that's it. And they called me dough roller.
Dough roller?
What
Yeah,
what
because
does
I
that
had no
mean?
chest.
This is mean.
It was really mean. And I had a really hard time with it for a lot of years until I bought boobs.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, there you go. That always works.
This does remind me of another name. My friend Lisa, again, when she was pregnant with her first kid, she was talking about what to name her first kid if it was a girl. And she really loved the name Clara.
Okay.
But she married a guy with the last name Seal. And she was just like, if this poor child has acne,
No.
I'm not going to name her Clara Seal because
No,
it sounds
you
like
can't
Clara
do that.
Seal. And so she nixed that name off the list.
I mean, that's a good
It was so
foresight.
smart of her to do that. But at the same time, like, I was like, oh, that's kind of sad because that is a beautiful name, Clara. But
Yeah.
Clara Seal.
Well,
no, you can't do
no.
that to a child, especially unless, like, you know they're going to have the greatest skin in the entire
I
world.
know. Well, look, we haven't really talked about like pet stuff, but like I just have to bring up that my mom wanted to name me Samantha. That was like on her name list, but she had a cat first named Sam, and she knew if she named me that she would want to nickname me Sam, but she didn't want to have to call Sam like all over the house, like and have to be like, am I talking to the cat or am I talking to my daughter?
I have thought about that for some of my names for animals. Like, I
Yeah.
can't name an animal something that I would want to name a child.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that in
And I
mind.
love human names for, like,
Oh, no. I need them crazy. We have Lancelot and Pudge Pickles. And Pudge, okay, so we got Pudge at an animal shelter. And my husband and I, is when we first started dating, and we were trying to pick out a dog. And we had a couple dogs in mind, and there was one whose name was already Pudge. And my husband was like, it's a sign, because his nickname in high school was Pudge. Not because he was chunky, because that was my first thought. It's because he was a very good baseball player. He was a catcher, and they nicknamed him after Pudge Rodriguez, which I guess is a famous baseball player. I don't know.
Sure.
But even his license plate said Pudge. So he's like, oh my
Wow.
God, like this is a sign. Like I have to get this dog. And I'm like, but can his name be Pudge Pickles?
and he liked you enough to say yes.
It's when we first started dating. Like now he would be like, no.
No.
But so our dog's name is Pudge Pickles. So we call him P Pickles, Pudgy, Piccolo, whatever you can think of.
I had a hamster once that I insisted on naming Little Tweeter because it made noises in the box when I got it. Which I got it for a science experiment, not anything crazy, but like I think it was like my excuse for getting a hamster in the first place was like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing where like can a hamster make it through a maze, and then can it make it through a maze while being distracted by loud noises and music? And anyways, it was a science experiment like that, but it was mostly because I really wanted a hamster. And I was in fifth grade, and I was smart enough to try to figure out how to con my parents into getting me a hamster. And so I named it Little Tweeter. But I ended up calling it Hammy Poo because it was a hamster. And I loved Hammy Poo. Hammy Poo was amazing, but his actual name was Little Tweeter because he sounded like he was making little tweets from the box when I got him.
This reminds me of Bacon, my little piggy.
Oh, did you call him stuff other than bacon?
No.
Little bake boy.
Little bake? I bet he's
My grandmother called him annoying.
Okay, so this reminds me of my first cat that I had. Well, my first cat as like me, semi-adult, like I think I was in high school my senior year, and my friend brought over a kitten and was basically like, here, you're adopting this kitten. And I was like, cool. My mom just gave away my dog, and I was really mad. So I was like, I'm going to take this kitten.
Oh, wait, was this the start of like Trina's like cat obsession?
It was the first of the entire obsession. And so I was trying to figure out what to name this kitten, and it was a little orange cat. And
Tabby cat.
like my friend insisted on me naming it Tiger because it looked like a tiger, like little tiger stripes. And I was like, no, I'm totally not doing that. But like I was going through and trying to figure out what to name this cat. It is a little boy cat.
Ladasha?
I did not. And I couldn't think of like what to name it. So finally I settled on George. And it became George. But so there's the story to that.
Okay.
Because my aunt Cindy has literally called me, my sisters, my cousins, like no matter if male or female, she refers to us as George. It's like when she can't remember someone's name, she just goes, "Hey George, come over here," and we all just know to turn and answer to it at this point. And it's just always been a thing. So when I couldn't think of what to name my cat, I finally just was like, it hit me, and I was like, George. His name is George because I can't think of what to call him. So he's George.
Did I meet George?
And you did. You are one of the few who met George.
I met George.
And then now that I've got all of these wonderful cats that I have upstairs, those names all kind of came from us thinking that we weren't going to keep them because we had a cat that we named Foster because it was supposed to be a foster cat.
Yeah.
And she ended up being knocked up when we found her. And so Foster ended up being her actual name because we kept her. So it's Foster. But we've shortened that and we call her Frosty Mama. And so like all of the names that we picked for all the kittens, they're like 4 years old now and we still call them kittens. And all of their names were basically decided upon because we like didn't think we'd keep them. And we were just like trying to give them descriptive names. So like the black and white cat is named Double Stuffed Oreo because he was twice the size of every kitten in the litter and he was black and white.
He's my favorite.
He's now been shortened to Oreo because calling him Double Stuffed Oreo is a little mean, but he is still twice the size of the other cats.
And I love him.
And his name is Oreo.
And he's a chub muffin. Oh, see, there's a nickname. Whenever I see him, I just call him a chubby muffin or a chubby monkey, and I just love him.
Mm-hmm. There's one of them named Ebbers. Well, we call him Ebbers. His name is actually Ebony, but that's because we really thought that he was a girl at first. And I was like, we're naming this one Ebony because it's fully black and Ebony black. And turns out Ebony was a boy. And although Ebony could be used as a boy or a girl name, it's just a color name, we've shortened it to Ebbers.
Yeah.
We have one that's named White Socks because his feet are white and he's like a tuxedo cat. And we call him Soxy. So, like, we shortened, like, all of their names.
I mean, yeah.
Callie, because she's a calico.
Mm-hmm.
Also, clearly, we have a lot of cats. I don't know if you're keeping up count, guys, but I'm not going to give you all of them. But yes, 84. That's it.
84
she has her own Champagne Cat Cafe.
We do.
If you would like to come over, it is only $80 a ticket.
That's right. You just let me know.
Yeah.
I will invite you to my Champagne Cat Cafe.
We'll feed the cats the cat wine that we have.
We still got to try that.
Jess is drinking Thinking Cat. Whoop, whoop!
Woo! What you thinking about today, Jess?
Well, I'm thinking about the champagne popsicles that I made with my friend Lizzie, aka Glitter Glasses Journey.
What?
Who is a lovely listener of ours.
And I'm really mad because I said, I'd really like to meet her. And she came in, and guess who did not text me?
Okay.
I didn't meet her either.
Look and
I was out of
listen. You guys were out of town.
I've been here for 8 years. I have a kid. I'm never going anywhere.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was like kind of spur of the moment. Things happened. She came over to my apartment and we experimented with champagne. She also does Pampered Chef. And so for my birthday, she got me like the Pampered Chef Quicksicle maker thing, which is like a device that you like are supposed to be able to just like, you just put it in the freezer and it freezes and then you like pop it out.
Okay.
It's like a three thing where you just like pour in and it makes 3 Quicksicles, aka popsicles. And you just are supposed to pour in the liquid and it like freezes in like 10 to 15 minutes. So
10 to 15 minutes.
yeah, now we're using alcohol.
Okay.
So things are a little bit different here. So we needed to experiment. We're just kind of mixing stuff around.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of fresh fruit and a bottle of champagne. And, I have some other stuff in my bar. And I got some gummy bears because, hello, we love the gummy bears,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I just, tried some stuff out. So this is what we did. We just, first of all, just tried some regular champagne and some gummy bears and tried that out. That froze okay, but we have to add some water. It was just all a big experiment. And I'm going to blog about this so that everyone can read about the different things that we tried. The best thing we did was we did like a Bellini one because, right? Because
that sounds delicious and refreshing.
Right. And I know you can use juice, but no. I'm all about some fresh fruit here, right? It's the summer. We already have the champagne, which is plenty of sweetness. I wanted to use some fresh fruit. So we did peaches. We did some champagne. I just used some Andre to be on the cheap side, but we can use whatever you want. And then a little dab of water. And because of the Prosecco tasting that we did at City Winery, I got some fresh mint.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
So we chopped up the peaches and the fresh mint.
Did you slap the mint?
We slapped the mint. We slapped the mint and chopped all that up and mixed it with the champagne and the little bit of water to help with freezing and put it in the quick sickle maker and froze it, and it came out with some popsicles. Ooh. Champagne Bellini popsicles.
How are they?
That sounds so good.
They were so
We wouldn't know because we weren't invited.
Guilt.
This was an experiment. I also tried out some strawberry mint Saint Germain popsicles.
Ooh.
The freezing ratio is a little bit different. This is going to be lots of experimentation to make sure the ratios are right. I'm going to try out some with the Chambord and everything like that. I'm going to have lots of fun experimenting. And one day I'm going to show up before the summer is over with some delicious popsicles.
All right.
But anyway, that was my birthday present. Lizzie brought this to me. So I have a quick sickle maker so I can make all the champagne popsicles.
Nice.
Also, that's a fantastic birthday gift. So I'm just going to throw this out there. My birthday's in September. All the listeners, if you want to send me anything that we can make champagne treats with.
So I had lots of fun. I hadn't seen Lizzie in a while, so it was just really fun to catch up and do this. She's a great listener. She's super excited about our podcast, and it was we just had lots of fun.
Lizzie, come back to Tennessee. I want to meet you because Jess kept you hostage.
That's right. Come meet us.
So that was a really fun. So Jess is Drinking Thinking Cap is going to have lots of fun thinking about that for the rest of the summer.
Awesome.
And also the Amazon Prime Day ferry showed up at my door last night with a amazing KitchenAid 6-quart mixer.
Oh, wow.
I've got one of those. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. It was an amazing deal on the last day of Amazon Prime Day.
That sounds awesome.
Thank you. Shout out to my amazing fiance who snatched up that for me.
I got it in our wedding registry.
Oh, really?
Just to put out there because you're engaged and you've got to do a wedding registry.
I guess.
Yes.
So I want all the attachments now and everything.
Yep.
So all the attachments go into your
All the
registry.
Register.
Everyone buys the kitchen stuff first.
Yeah. So so basically I got this amazing stand mixer. So I can't wait to bake up all kinds of champagne treats with it.
Excited.
That is exciting.
So that's Jess's Drinking Thinking Cap this week.
Whoop, whoop. Excited to try some of these popsicles.
Yeah.
I think we need to have some of your tester popsicles for when we go to the drive-in for the first time.
Yeah, girl.
that's
So
a
we'll
good
pack
idea.
a cooler full of them.
Cooler full of champagne popsicles.
Yeah, but I'll do a blog soon that just has pictures. Lizzie took a video of me doing some stuff. So
Even better. I love video footage.
Oh, we'll post that soon. Just recipes and all that fun stuff.
All right.
Fantastic.
Guys, it's time for Drink About It.
Yes.
Do we have any submissions
Oh,
this
we
week?
do. We got a user submission from Stacy.
Well, before we start this, how do you submit to our Drink About It and
Oh.
Champagne Shoutouts?
There's 1,000 ways.
There's 1,000 ways.
Let me count the ways. Instagram, Facebook, our website, email, carrier pigeon,
All
smoke
of those
signals, whatever you got.
Telepathy?
Oh,
Yes.
I feel like we're on that level, especially
Do
when we
it.
drink more
Do it.
champagne.
Put your note in a bottle, an empty bottle of champagne, and put it in the Cumberland River
Yeah.
or the ocean or something.
or the ocean.
Send us
get
a
it.
message in a bottle. We will get it.
Any way you want to get it to us. We got it.
Yes.
So Stacy's drinking about it because she made her first student loan payment.
Womp, womp, womp. We can all relate to that. I mean, everyone's made a payment on something at some point in time, but if you've had student loan payments, which my husband refers to as the car payment for the invisible car that we will pay for forever.
Yes.
That's the accurate statement of the year.
Does college even cost money anymore? Because I feel like it's free. I mean,
I feel like it should be written off after so many years.
yeah.
I've had the unfortunate thought of recently that I have managed to build my career working for 3 nonprofits, but they are all designated 501c6s, which is a not-for-profit as opposed to a nonprofit. So therefore, I cannot write my loans off, but they can choose to pay me less.
WTF.
I know, right? I mean, not that they're like, they've all been wonderful jobs. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like at some point in time, my degree should be written off. My student loans should be paid off.
Yeah.
Because I've worked that long for nonprofits.
Amen.
I'm giving back to the music community, guys. Just saying.
Yeah, you are.
Yep.
So yeah, I feel for you, Stacey. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Cheers to you.
I'm drinking about it because our air has been out for the 4th time in 3 weeks.
What?
Oh my God. How? Yeah. Is it the upstairs, the downstairs?
Okay, so the upstairs has went out 4 times, downstairs once. Currently, it's the upstairs, so we're now living on the couch again for the 4th time.
Oh my God.
This is a chronic condition.
Yes.
That is horrible. Well, I hope he gets fixed soon. Yeah. Do you guilt them? Are you like, hey, we have a newborn baby at home. Like, you horrible people, fix our AC.
Jason calling. I think that's the issue because he's very matter of fact. And I can be very dramatic, believe it or not.
You don't say.
You don't say.
So maybe
I feel like you should
should call next time.
Maybe.
You should put Rory up to the phone when she's crying.
Oh, call them when she's in like a hysterical tantrum.
Be like, shh, I have a newborn.
You see those not car commercials, those news articles where like a baby is in a hot car? This is a hot car. Like a
I
house.
am going through menopause, I have hot flashes, and I have a newborn, and I will murder you.
There you go.
That.
Okay.
Are they going to make you pay for it all? They can't do that.
Well, it's going to be like $800 to fix it.
Again? No.
Well, we haven't paid anything yet.
We need to send you our AC guy because our AC, like, first of all, our AC is like, I'm not kidding, 27 years old. They don't make them like they used to. Because most of the people I know who have newer houses got theirs replaced after like 8 years, 2 years, 5 years,
Or our house
10
was
years.
built like 4 years ago. It's not like it's an ancient system.
Well, that's my friend Amy. Like, she's lived in 2 different houses that have been built like within the last 10 to 20 years. And both times, like, her AC went out within the first few years, I believe. I think I know her first house. I think the second house had the same issue at one point in time too. But like, I remember her telling me about the first time when her AC went out, and it was just like, that's a new house in a newer subdivision. How on earth did it go out? But they say the new ACs on these new houses don't last that long. Ours is 20-something years old, and it's gone out once or twice, but we've basically paid someone to come over and do like a little small fix on it, and it's working still fine.
Anyway, before I'm moving to Alaska. What are y'all drinking?
Moving to Alaska.
Moving to Alaska.
Well, since you're talking about Alaska...
Oh.
My drink about it this week is that I'm going to Alaska.
I hate you. I am so envious and so jealous of you right now. I can't even look at you.
Before this podcast comes out, or by the time this podcast comes out on Friday, I will be in Seattle. And I will be 2 days away from being in Alaska.
Some people.
I'm so excited. I've never been on an Alaskan cruise. I've always wanted to go. And so Marshall and I are super, super excited. We are flying into Seattle this week. And we're going to spend like 2.5 days there. And then we are going on the Alaskan cruise for a week. Then we're spending 1 more day back in Seattle. And then we're coming back home.
I can't even look at you.
I know. I would be jealous of me too right now because that's an amazing vacation.
So amazing.
I hate you.
Are you going to see whales?
I'm hoping to.
I hope a penguin bites your toe.
I hope to see whales. I also hope to go glacier hiking because I've always wanted to do that.
Yes.
If
And-
you don't bring me back a penguin, you're dead to me.
I will bring you back a penguin. I promise.
A real one.
I don't know about a real one. I was
A
hoping you
real
wouldn't say that.
penguin, Trina.
I was thinking like a stuffed penguin.
I want
What if
a
it's
real
like a
one.
jewelry penguin?
Trina,
Real diamonds.
Trina, we need to interview a penguin on this podcast.
Yeah.
I can interview a penguin on a cruise ship, maybe.
Okay, work on that. Jess, what are you drinking about?
There you go. What are you drinking about?
I'm just drinking about, I have some negative things to drink about, but I'm going to ignore those. And I'm just going to drink about that I saw some old friends this week. I already mentioned Lizzie. We got to make the popsicles. And then yesterday I went to a sip and see, which is a baby shower, but not a baby shower. Those are fun. You don't play games. And you...
Whoa.
We didn't play games at mine.
And I highly appreciated that, Lindsay.
All that shit.
Yeah, that was great too, Lindsay. We just drank champagne and watched you.
Nobody
open
wants to lick a
presents.
diaper or eat baby food.
I
You know
agree.
what? You're both doing all of that whenever I have children.
Oh,
We'll
no.
do it.
I am the game person, and you can't play all the damn games.
No.
But I will have y'all all get drunk on my behalf first.
All right.
Like, you will drink all the champagne.
As long as you
Appreciate
I
have
won't make
alcohol.
you sniff the diaper thing because I feel like that's really gross. But I will make you
The
eat
lick
baby
the
food.
diaper thing.
That's so weird.
That's
where you
gross.
melt a
Don't-
candy bar in the
don't
diaper
want
and you have to lick it to see what it is.
Don't want it. Don't
Nobody
want it.
effing wants to do that. Get your together,
Don't want
potential
it.
moms.
Don't want it.
Well, not them. The friends that host the baby
Yeah,
showers.
you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So appreciate your baby shower, Lindsay, where we just drink champagne and watch you open
I know,
gifts.
because my friends know what I want.
No, I want to embarrass everyone and make you eat baby food.
No. So
By then, I think I'll be used to it.
So I saw some high school friends at a sip and see the other day, which was great. I saw my high school friend Emily, who I hadn't seen in like 3 years since she was pregnant with her first child. She just had a second child, and she basically just had a sip and see where we got to like see her kids and visit with her, and
drink.
And there's no alcohol.
That,
wait.
A sip and see.
Sip and see, but didn't have any alcohol?
It was like
Sip.
lemonade.
Sip.
Okay, I feel like that's misleading.
All right, I know. If it's fine, I went and kayaked on the river right
Never
after,
heard of a baby shower,
so it
though.
was fine.
I do think that's a great idea for a second child, like to do a sip and see, but I definitely would feed people like champagne.
A second child is called a sprinkle, not a shower.
I do like the idea of a sprinkle. Like, I think that's a cute
Right.
idea, but I think the sip and see is really cute because you get to meet the baby.
It was great. We got to meet the baby. I got to see her. I got to talk to some other friends, maybe sniff out some possible job opportunities and just like visit. And it was just kind of like nice. I didn't have to stay the whole time. Nobody they had specifically on the invite, like no presents. Like the only present required is your presents. Like it was just like nice, good to catch up like with someone that like I still value having as a friend, but like not like, you know, we don't get to talk very often type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that was really, it was nice. So that was like that was a happy thing.
That is pretty awesome. I think that's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the baby sprinkles before. I've never heard of a sip and see. I think that's brilliant for the second.
Right. I would definitely, if that was me, I'd have alcohol. but-
Always fun to see like old friends though.
Exactly.
I love that.
So-
I've had friends like posting online this weekend about being at their 20-year high school reunion because they were class of 98. And I think that's just like awesome. Like I love
Yeah.
the idea of like seeing old friends and keeping up with old friends, especially when they're going through like those big life-changing moments like,
Exactly.
you know, new children and all sorts of fun things like that, baby showers, bridal showers, etc.
Exactly.
So
it was a good week for old friends.
I've got another drink about it from, this is just like mine for the week, but like, or for the month. I have driven every weekend in July. Like this is next weekend will be my only weekend that I'm not driving somewhere, but like I'll be out of town for like the 4th weekend in a row. I have not been home for a single weekend in July.
That's crazy.
It has been crazy. We've driven in Georgia twice. I've driven in North Carolina. I'm now going to be in Seattle for the next weekend and then Alaska, like the entire month of July. Especially after we were just talking about the summer bucket list.
I know. You're gone.
I feel like it's just been like one thing after the other. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really excited about like going on this trip, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, where did my July go? I'm going to come back and it's going to be August. Like,
But you're going to have a great trip.
I am going to have a great trip, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm also like already planning my big vacation for next year, in which I'm going to the Philippines. I don't know if y'all know about that.
No.
Oh, we are?
Like, okay, if you want to go with me, yeah.
Yes.
Which I am going to swim with whale sharks there.
What?
Yeah, that's already been
Stop.
planned out. Like, I'm going to swim with whale sharks. Marshall is going to go with me, and my sister, my oldest sister, Layla. We're all going to the Philippines to visit my grandparents.
Oh, me too.
And-
And Rory and Jay.
We're going to the Philippines. Marshall's big thing is that he really wants to see where I grew up when I lived in the Philippines.
I did too.
And so we're going to go over to, we're going to try to plan it out, hopefully, so we can go over to Manila and see Luzon. Well, it's now called Angel City, but that's where the base was that I used to live on.
Wow.
And so I'm already starting to plan out my next big vacation for next year, and I'm super excited about that.
No,
so
I'm
I'm going to
totally
talk
going.
about that.
I'm totally going.
And that's awesome. I mean, I think we've narrowed down our honeymoon. That will happen next year too. So.
You should try honeymooning in the Philippines, dude. My grandparents were telling us about the resorts there. Like, think of like the ridiculous, like 5-star resorts, the beautiful, pristine beaches and all that. And now think of that all-inclusive resort for like $150 a night.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, we might have to add that to the list. We narrowed it down to Hawaii and an island in Greece.
That also sounds
Greece
really
was
nice, but I'm just like, you should check out the Philippines.
Okay.
They're getting their first like international airport in Bohol, where my grandparents live, and so I'm like hoping by next year we can even fly there even cheaper. But like they have everything. They have like the big resorts. They have all of that kind of stuff. But since it's still fairly new for people to think of it as a vacation spot, like it's so cheap. My grandparents get once a week. They get a foot bath, pedicure, manicure, a massage in their home from someone who comes to their house and does this for them. Do you want to know how much it costs them?
Please.
Their person's there for like several hours.
Okay.
$4 US.
Are you,
Shut.
okay, can they
That's
adopt
after tip.
me?
Shut
by the
the
way.
fork up.
That's after tip.
Can they adopt me?
$4.
Plenty Peter, adopt me.
They talked about that, and I was just like, oh my God, like that's amazing.
So have one of those every day that you're there.
Right? The entire time I'm there, I'm just gonna be pampered and like,
Yeah.
just relaxing. I mean, I've seen some of the pictures. They love to go visit some of the resorts in the area and stuff, and like the resorts are seriously they can, in my opinion personally, I follow a couple different groups from like the Philippines on Instagram, and they compare to like Bora Bora and like all of the amazing like all-inclusive like resorts, like those beautiful beaches that you always see. They compare to that, but for a fraction of a price. Instead of paying like $500 a night for an all-inclusive, it's so much cheaper. It's
Damn.
worth looking into. The most expensive thing is to get out there.
Okay.
Once you
Going
get there,
with you.
Good to know.
Yeah.
We're coming along.
you're coming along. We're going to all do a podcast next spring from the Philippines.
Family trip.
All right, so it's champagne trivia time. Champagne trivia. Champagne trivia. All right. So what was the question from last week? Don't ask Trina or Jess; they never remember.
It was something about a cage.
Is this the condom one?
I'm in a cage of emotions.
That was like 2 episodes ago.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, never mind then.
So,
Trina messed me up.
so that question. So it did have to do with the mousselet.
Okay, yes, the mousselet.
Remember, that's what the cage is called.
Yes, the mousselet.
So how do you know if a bottle of champagne sparkling wine Prosecco is a vintage bottle?
Oh, I said that it has a mousselet. See, I remembered that.
Oh.
Right. So the real answer is this is how you know if it's top quality, guys.
Okay.
If the mousselet is twisted 5.5 times.
Oh, I've never thought to count how many times it's twisted.
Yeah, that is how you know it's a top quality bottle.
So,
Wow.
is there a mousselet twister?
Well, you know, like how it's twisted at the end.
Oh, no, I know. Is there somebody who like does that? Is that a
Now,
machine?
the ones that we drank tonight didn't even have a mousselet.
That's how you know it's the good bargain
So
brand.
you know it was $4.99 a bottle.
Yeah.
Good old Aldi's.
So, what is the new question?
Yeah, what is that?
Okay. Who created champagne?
Besides the French people?
It's a name that you know.
A name we know.
A name that you know.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't know the name, but you know what? I'm just going to go with that it was a monk.
A monk? Where do you get a monk
And I
from?
want to know what the occupation was so that
I'm going to go that it was a monk in the Champagne region of France.
I feel like it's someone who has to be named Champagne, but I don't know what the first name would be. Because I can't imagine the first name being Champagne.
But you do know it was created in Champagne, France.
Okay, there's that too, but I feel like someone would probably be named Champagne in Champagne, France.
Okay.
I don't know the name. I'm not even going to guess that.
Maybe the
If
town
it's-
was named after them. Just saying.
Maybe. I'm going to assume it was a French name, but I'm going to assume it was a monk because it's usually those monk people who do all the fermenting and the champagne making.
Oh, let's say, wait. Monks make champagne? Do they drink champagne?
They drink alcohol back then.
Back then, but not currently.
They might still, but water was dangerous to drink.
Okay, that's true.
So I'm just going to say it was a monk that made it.
A monk in Champagne, France.
Yep.
That's Jess's guess. Mine is someone named Champagne.
All right. What's your guess? You can let us know on Instagram, Facebook, or our website, www.thechampagneway.com.
All right. What we may or may not what we may or may not talk about on the next episode.
We'll drink about it too.
Or drink about, all of those things. More names for our illegitimate children that we may get knocked up with when we drink all this champagne. Shout out to Jess, who's making a face at us right now.
Totally was drunk when Rory was conceived. I'll just put that out there.
Illegitimate, huh?
Whether or not we name one of our children Champagne so that we can say that they were named after Champagne.
Yeah.
We'll call them Champ.
Champers.
Hey, Champers. Do we want to call anyone else by the nickname PITA? Hopefully you remember what that's named meant.
Pain in the...
And will we or will we not be ever invited back over to City Winery for another Prosecco party or champagne experimenting party? Which I hope we do because I really want to go back there. So, hopefully we'll talk about all of that and more on our next episode of The Champagne Way.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, for listening. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at thechampagneway.com. Also, check out our website, www.thechampagneway.com. A special thank you goes to our producer, Marshmallow, and he's actually a star right now. He played in front of millions and millions of people this weekend. And if you would like his autograph, please send $1 million to Trina's address at thechampagneway.com. You can Venmo, PayPal, or whatever else.
At The Champagne Way.
The small
Champagne
bills,
Way.
please. And we will get you that.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Thanks to Marshmallow and the second sound. Bye.
Bye.